I think she was extremely careless. I think she was negligent. That I could establish. What we can't establish is that she acted with the necessary criminal intent.
Well, now we have the emails. That was FBI Director Comey testifying as they decided not to recommend charges for Hillary Clinton. But an anonymous FBI insider is saying many people involved in the case believe that Clinton should have been charged. Fred Tecce is a former federal prosecutor, and he joins me now. Let me read you part of the quote. So this was from that source on the case saying no trial-level attorney agreed. No agent working the case agreed with the decision not to prosecute. What do you think?
What I think this is an absolute travesty. You know, Melissa, you may have heard me say this. The proudest day of my life was the day I put my left hand on the Bible and raised my right hand and became a federal prosecutor and agreed to defend the laws and the Constitution of the United States. It is an unbelievable job. It is an honor to have it. And to see what these people have done and basically turned the United States Department of Justice into a political circus makes me sick. When you hear that no trial-level attorney agreed with the decision not to prosecute, those are the foot soldiers. Those are kind of the enlisted soldiers who are out there working with 100 case agents, as I understood, day in and day out, sifting through the evidence, looking at the elements of the crime, making a determination as to whether or not there's probable cause, that there's enough facts to support each element in order to return an indictment. And as I understand it, they were unanimous in their determination that Mrs. Clinton had violated the law and that she should have been indicted. It's outrageous.
How do you feel now that you see the emails? I mean, because he always hung his hat on the idea that there was an intent. And now we see the emails, and they're discussing what not to hand over, and they're discussing, you know, what should we give them, what should we keep to the side, what do we do with the server? I mean, and the intent is there, clear as day, although we're seeing it because those emails were stolen, which is a crime in and of itself. So I don't know. How do you feel about it?
Well, it is a crime in and of itself, but interestingly, you know, under the Fourth Amendment against the unreasonable search and seizures, as long as the government didn't, you know, it wasn't the government's idea for WikiLeaks to go and steal these, which obviously it wasn't, ultimately those emails could have been used. And to answer your question, how do I feel? I'm not surprised in any way, shape, or form. In my opinion, based upon the evidence that I saw, that there was sufficient evidence to establish intent. I mean, when you hear of computers being wiped out with BleachBit, which is basically a system that goes through and obliterates information. You know, under the law, destruction of evidence is consciousness of guilt. Yeah. And when you hear stories about how servers were destroyed and emails were deleted and things were done, that's compelling evidence of guilt. So what I'm seeing from WikiLeaks doesn't surprise me at all.
How do you think all these people will feel if she becomes president and she's then at the top of the law and order food chain after having done all this?
You know, part of my frustration with all of this is that ultimately, if she becomes president, I mean, I see 4 more years of gridlock. I see stuff not getting done because depending on whether or not the Democrats take both houses, both the House and the Senate, I mean, you know there's going to be investigations, there's going to be efforts to impeach, and ultimately the American people, I'm no political expert, but the American people are going to suffer because the job of taking care of America is not being taken, but not being undertaken because these people are fighting over whether or not this woman should have been indicted.
I think gridlock is the best case scenario.
Yeah.
I mean, if she has a government that completely agrees with her, that's going to be a whole nother situation. Fred, thank you.
I'll take the gridlock over that.
Exactly.